In this lesson, you can see I have all my files open and I'm ready to start a new composition. But what we're going to do this time is we're going to save versions of the file as we work on them. And how we're going to save versions is by using a panel called Layer Comps and even touching a little bit on the History panel. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start dragging and dropping these other images on top of the boy guitar. So I'm holding down my Shift key and I'm dragging. Starting to drag and then hold down Shift key. And again, why I'm holding the Shift key down is to perfectly center these images on top of the other. Now, in order to open up my scratch space, I'm going to go ahead and close up all those other documents and open this up a little bit more. Okay, so let me pull up the Layers panel. And you can see I've got a bunch of different layers here. And I'm also going to choose Window Layer Comps. And what I'm going to do right now is create a little composition and save it as a version. Maybe I'm working with a client who wants to see multiple versions, or I myself want to save versions as I'm working on my file. So first of all, I'm taking these layers and I'm naming them appropriately. Guitar Man, Headset, Tan BG for background. I'm taking my elliptical marquee tool. I'm then refining the edge to feather it a bit. Click OK. Make sure I'm on the guitar layer and then say Add a Layer Mask. Now I want that same mask to be used for my headset, so I can Command or Control click on it to reactivate it. Click on Headset. Make sure I'm still on the marquee tool and move my selection. And then add a mask to the headset as well. So they both have identical masks. I'm taking my Move tool and just repositioning these layers. Holding down my Command key can also help to do this, so I can be more fluent with this. Now I've got this combination of layers and I want to save this. So I'm choosing to add a new layer comp by clicking on the dog-eared document at the bottom of the Layer Comp panel. I want to save the visibility, position, and appearance, and I'm calling this version 1 and clicking OK. Now the client has come to me and they want some additional changes. They want to try some different things like, hey, maybe it would be cool to see that bottom layer. So let's go into tan background and bring the opacity down a little bit. Okay, that's fine. And now I can create another version, version 2. And now I've got the ability to go back and forth between these. Maybe I even want to put text in here. So I'm taking my type tool, I'm clicking out here on my image and typing Rock It. Now notice that since the tan background was the last active layer, that is where my text appears right above it. I didn't plan that very well, but that's okay. I can always move it. Now I want to reposition my text without exiting the type editor, so I hold down my Command or Control key and I can pull or reposition that text and then confirm that's where I want it. And now I'm just going to drag this up to the top. So we've got some text in here, and I'll create another version with text. Now, the neat thing about this is you don't have to hold down the Option or Alt key when you click on New. It automatically does give you the opportunity to name it. But you'll see that even the visibility works in the Layer Comps. I can now go in and maybe add a drop shadow. And the drop shadow, I want to be the same burgundy color as the background. So I'll click on the color swatch and sample that color. Click OK. And then OK again. And I'll create another version. Text with shadow. But again, the really great thing about this is look how quickly I have been able to save different versions. And then I can go back to my client or my boss or just to myself and say, okay, this is actually the one I want, or at any time I can say, let me just go back to the way it was and work with this one. Now another helpful tool with this, just a real quick easy thing to do, is to use your History panel if you really, really want to kind of play around with things and maybe even start an entirely new file. You'll notice that at the bottom of my History panel there is a Create New Document from Current State button, which is kind of the same thing as a layer comp, but the benefit is when I click on this, an entirely new unsaved document is created with all the layers in the same order so that I can continue working without affecting or even risking affecting my original file. So again, giving you the opportunity to create a separate version of your file. Now I'm going to close this up and not save it and go back to my original file. Well, hopefully you've discovered how you can save versions of your layered documents to help you create the most effective composition.